back to my channel. So I just wanted to come on and do a quick video today just to show you how I measure my nail blanks for press-on nails. So all I've got here is I've just got a box of my tips here, and I've just picked up the biggest size just so it's easier to show you. And then you need a tape measure, so preferably you need one of these windy tape measures, and the side we're going to use to measure has to be the side that you've got the centimetres and millimetres, because we're going to use millimetres. So what I do to measure, so this is a size 0 and it's a coffin nail. What I do first is I measure the length. So starting from the top, put the big line so it's easier to measure from the top, hold it tight, if I get that right, and then I measure all the way down. So trying to show you on camera is a bit awkward, but and then you measure all the way down. So that's 10, 20, 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 32. So that's 32 millimetres long. Now the reason I measure the length is because when it comes to doing the next step, as you go down the sizes, the lengths are different. So if I went to a size 9 in the same style, obviously the lengths are different. So when it comes to measuring the widest part of the nail, where do you measure the widest part? How do you know you're measuring the right part of the nail? So there's a bit of debate as to whether you measure the top side of a nail or if you measure underneath. There's a difference of opinion online, and from the research that I've done, I've decided that I'm happy to measure underneath. And the reason I measure underneath is because that's the part of the nail that has contact with the natural nail. So then what I do to measure underneath, and to ensure that I'm getting an accurate measurement for all tips, is I measure the same area of all tips. So what I did is when I measured from the cuticle, it's because I've been planting, from the cuticle to sort of like the widest part of my nail up there, I found it was about 10 millimetres. So from the bottom of the nail, again always using the biggest line, I go from there, there's 10 millimetres, and then from that 10 millimetre line I sort of pinch it down, hold it, swivel, and you can see it's put it there. I've got the big line on the edge. Make sure the measuring tape is straight, and that's, try and get my nails out of the way, 10, 15, 16, 17, that's an 18 millimetre tip. Does that make sense? So I measured from there to there to there. So I'll show you that again. I've gone 10 millimetres up from the bottom. There's the line there, so I've pinched it down there. From there I swivel, just bring the measuring tape so the big line's on the edge, so it's easier to get your measurement. Hold it down tight and then measure across. So then what I do, so this was 32 millimetres and I did 10 millimetres, and then I measured 10 millimetres up. So if we went to a size 9, in length this is 10, 20, 1, 2, 23. So it's almost, what, 9 millimetres shorter. So, is that right? Let me just check that again. I always, when I measure, I re-measure again. Yes, it's about 24. So now if I went 10 millimeters up this nail, it's going to be a lot higher. So what I do is I normally take it down to about 5, 6. Again, swivel it round, bring the line, the big line, to the tip of the nail. Especially if they've got a deep C curve, make sure you pinch that measuring tape in. So when you've got long nails, that makes it easier, but then you can't see the lines because of your nails. And that is 9 millimeters. So that's how I measure my blanks. I hope that makes sense, and I've made it clear. Then there's, you know, how do you measure your nail? Excuse this nail, I've just literally split my natural nail right across here. I don't know if you can see that line. That's why I've put a thicker gel on the top. But you literally measure, whether you do it with a measuring tape, from that end. I always use these big lines on the measuring tape. From there, 15, so there's 10, 15, 16, so I'm probably maybe a 17 to give it a comfortable fit. And that's how I'd measure. So they could either measure like that, or they'd use the clear tape method, and then you measure like this part of the nail. So I hope that you found this video helpful. I just thought I'd come on here and do a quick demo as to how I measure, and I'll just show you quickly actually how I note it. At the moment I've just got rough notes. So I use the GoodNotes app. So I use it on my iPad, and I just use my pencil, Apple Pencil, but you could obviously just type it. So these are just rough sketches. So this is how I do it. I put like the tip size, the width of the nail, 18 millimeters, and then I put the length. So this one, I think it's meant to be this one, and for some reason I've written it's 27 millimeters long, but I need to obviously check my measurements there because that's wrong, because I've measured it at 32. But yeah, that's basically how I've roughly done it. And then you see I've done some short oval. Basically that's what I've done with all my nail blanks. I've just gone through and I've just jotted down what each one is, but you have to make it clear what your tips are and which ones they are that you're measuring. And when you see these nail guides online and it says 0 is 18 and 1 is this, 2 is that, blah blah, then all different nail tips, they're not all the same size. So where you're asking your client to say if they're 18 millimeters they're a size 0, that's not always the case, because nail tips can vary in sizes. So depending what style tips you use, what length or shape they choose, they might not be a size 0 just because they're an 18 millimeter. So just be careful depending what tips you're using, how you're doing that sizing chart. So what I'm gonna ask my clients to do is literally tell me in millimeters, my thumb is this many millimeters, my index is 15 millimeters, my middle's this many millimeters. I don't want them to tell me 0, 1, 2, 3. I don't need them to tell me that. I will work that out myself. So I hope you've found this video helpful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. I do have a couple of other videos for press on nails. I've got a getting started one, and I've got one showing me designing a set of press-ons as well as packaging them up. So I will try and remember to link those down below. But thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.